All rise to the Pledge of Allegiance. Please lead us in the pledge, Doherty.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. Before we start with our guest speaker, Brian Doherty, we have Bobia that would like to speak for a moment. Bobia, please.
Yeah, so I just wanted to let everybody know that the Brooklyn Teen Republican Club, in conjunction with the Brooklyn GOP's Chairman Ted Gora and Vice Chair Brian Doherty, we will be hosting the 43rd City Council District Debate with John Quaglione, Liam McCabe, and Bob Capano this coming Thursday at 7 p.m. at Bay Ridge Manor. If you want to come over to me afterwards, I'll give you all the details. Also, as secretary of the Reagan Republican Club, I was asked to inform you that they will be having their meeting right after ours at 4 p.m. at 2508, I believe, Coney Island Avenue. Am I right? Is it 2508? Yeah, 2508 Coney Island Avenue, which is in between Gravesend and Avenue V, I believe. And they are hosting City Council candidate Steve Saperstein, who was recently endorsed by the Brooklyn GOP, and City Council candidates John Quaglione and Liam McCabe. Again, any questions afterwards, come over to me and I'll let you know about all the details. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, before we move forward, I would like to have our chairman of the board, Warren Swinberry, to go over a meeting that you had briefly. Forgot all about it. Yeah. I sent you there.
Yes.
That worked. And Bobby, I wish I could make that. I put a day in for to get off of work, and they, of course, denied me. And I almost had my fourth. Just trying to drag her in. She's on the hallway. May 4th, they denied me a day off to work at a hellhole. And May 3rd was going to be our meeting for the executive meeting.
I think it may have been pushed out.
15th.
Now it's pushed because I have that day off.
Okay.
Well, luckily I had it for other reasons, but I felt, oh good, I would have came right after I had to do something. No, it did not. So I wish I could attend, but that's going to be a fun event, guys. It's a debate with 3 candidates, and it should get nice and fun, like debates go. So Lawrence, please, by all means, continue.
By the way, who's moderating the debate?
John Alexander from the Brooklyn Eagle, Daily Eagle.
Nice. So, hi everybody, thanks for coming today. On this past Thursday evening, I had the very, I don't know how to describe the unique pleasure of attending an event that was called by a woman named Helen Whitney. Does anybody know the name Helen Whitney or David Black?
Nope.
The name familiar to anybody? Helen Whitney is a documentarian. They call people make documentaries, documentarian. Mm-hmm. She's a filmmaker, and she makes documentaries about various cultural issues. She's done it about the Mormons. She's done it about the last one she was about forgiveness in America. So she's been, her films have made it onto PBS and ABC, national networks. So she's a successful filmmaker. And she invited Glenn. She came across Glenn's work, writings in publications in Brooklyn, and invited him to come as a conservative representative of the conservative side of things to this event, which was to have people from all different political stripes come to this one meeting and discuss all the animosity going on now between the left and the right in our modern culture. And she's supposed to be open-minded and polite and not, not bring your anger. Don't call anybody a loser, right? And so I checked my anger and I went to the meeting. Glenn couldn't make it, so he asked me to go instead. And I checked my anger and I went to the meeting, and it was very pleasant. It was very interesting. People had the very wide range of political points of view at the meeting. There were far left liberals and far righters also, and Republicans, Democrats, all of it. And there was a very casual conversation. She said, they just get us started. They just got it started, and then after that, people could just talk whenever they wanted. And so there's 40 people in a room, this big parlor this woman had in her apartment in Greenwich Village.
She had 40 people in that?
40 people in there, yeah.
Which is a mansion?
It's no, it's crowded. I was very proud. And it wasn't like formal seating like this. It was just like you sit on the credenza, you sit on the couch, you sit wherever.
Get a free lap dance.
Yeah. And it never got too, no anger bubbled up too much. There was definitely recognition that we see things differently. You know, there was a remarkable number of conservatives for a private home in Greenwich Village.
Wow.
There's a remarkable number of conservatives in the room. So woman, you got to give a lot of credit. She went out of her way to make sure there were people from both sides were there.
Good.
And there were a lot of Trump supporters there. Many people said they supported Trump only because they couldn't stand Clinton. They just would not vote for her, and they had to try to stop her. And
Welcome aboard.
and there were others who were pure Trump supporters, you know, that thought it was the greatest thing, right? So, and I was very impressed. I still don't like liberals, but I think they're wrong on a lot of things. And as you see things at I brought up the thing at Berkeley, you know, and Coulter being, I will tell you this. I said, I'd like to do an informal poll in this room of 40 people of different political stripes. Does anybody here think that Ann Coulter should have been stopped from speaking at Berkeley? And not one of them thought so. They all thought it was wrong to stop her from speaking, even though a lot of them hated Ann Coulter.
Even Elizabeth Warren, I heard, said that.
So that was impressive. So I came away from it, you know, I don't know how we're gonna, there's a lot of talk about bridging the divide, bridging the gap. I don't know how that's gonna happen. As one of them put it, they said, when we say make America great again, they think America was never great. A lot of them think, what are you talking about? America's this racist nation, and it was, you know, white people only, and rich white guys land, and everybody else could go to hell, that kind of thing. And they're thinking, what are you talking about? So when we think about the Constitution, the Founding Fathers, and liberty, and the groundbreaking stuff that this country's all about, they don't see it. So we're talking past each other. It's a problem. But as I said, that all being true, people were very polite, and afterwards we all mingled, and it was fascinating eating.
Did you play a game of Twister after?
No, we didn't. But this one man, David Black, was the co-host. He mentioned an interesting thing. He's from Western Massachusetts, and he described himself as a Trotskyite when he was a kid. You know, his parents.
What was his education?
He was a red diaper baby. He said.
Red diaper baby.
Yeah.
What was his education? Out of curiosity.
Don't know the answer to
A
that.
lot of it's indoctrination.
But he has admitted that his parents were off to one end, and he's moderated as an adult. He's moderated his views. But he used to say these stories that his father up in the Berkshires, West Massachusetts, would have people from the same thing, people from all sides of the spectrum, come to his house, and they would debate things, and afterwards they'd say, okay, it's over now, let's have fun, and they'd break out and play music.
Well, you know what, at the end of the day, that's how it should be. Look, you disagree.
Everybody has different opinions, they come together.
You disagree, fine, whatever.
Yeah, but that was a
I'll give my side of it, you're gonna give your side. Maybe I don't like you, maybe you'll like me, maybe. And then from there, we don't have to hate each other. And that's the thing, there's a lot of hate, and it's, majority of it is from the left. You see it when you see burning cities, burning destroyed property, silencing Trump supporters like at Berkeley where they pepper spray them in the face and stuff like that. That is a total disgusting behavior.
Well, the question
majority from the left.
The question for me would be this: we want to be like open-minded, we want to be like friendly and polite and all that. But when they do that, how should we handle it?
You need a police force to enforce the law.
Right, and that's
If there is no rule of law, there is no rule, and there is no order. It has to be done very strongly and swiftly. If they're not going to do it, then what kind of country do we have? It must be done now.
Look, the Republicans in Congress can't even agree with each other. There's a lot of disagreement about practically every issue amongst the Republicans. But at least they're civil. We don't have a civil society anymore. That's what the problem is.
But the Republican Party, as it stands in Congress, and some folk could argue whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, is a large tent party. We have neoconservatives, we have Tea Party, we have social conservatives, we have fiscal conservatives, we have people from a variety of backgrounds, and even liberal Republicans. But the point being, we have a diverse population of opinions, ideas, and wants, as opposed to the Democrat Party that after Obama was elected and he pushed through Obamacare, he basically annihilated any sort of alternative Democrat. I mean, the blue dog Democrats are completely gone. If you look at the Democrat Party today, there is a reason the Republicans have, over 60% of the governorships, and they control 80-something%. Glenn, you're the one who knows
Not
this.
sure of this, but we control the majority of the state houses.
It's not because we've gerrymandered the system, it's the fact that the Democrat Party has pulled so far to the left and has opposed anybody in there that Bill Clinton most likely could not have been elected in the current Democrat Party today. JFK could not have been elected.
Harry
Truman could not have been elected. Maybe FDR could have if he sat around and he offered a few extra Xboxes and Nike sneakers to go with the vote. But other than that,
I have a question for you.
by the way, folks, please set your phones on vibrate or turn them off so nobody's phone rings in here.
That's if we
please.
have a reception.
Alan, I'm curious, though, how would you discuss this with people that might be on the other side, saying the same thing about candidates like Ronald Reagan not being able to get the nomination today because we've moved up to the right? How would you debate?
We haven't moved to that. I would say we haven't, sorry.
I'd say we move more.
See, that's something else which they're not
We
understanding.
move on to the left.
It's like a different thought of universes here. You have to understand that.
Hold on, this is a fun part. Could Reagan have been elected or could have gone?
So I think Reagan
System.
could be nominated by
He
Tate.
would have been a very different person
Yeah, I
because he was born in a different generation.
If you had a Monin Reagan and he came up, well, let's start with the first thing. If we had somebody who came out of Hollywood at this point, would we as Republicans want anybody from
Yeah,
Hollywood?
but wait a minute. I don't think it's correct to characterize Reagan as someone out of
No,
Hollywood.
I'm just saying,
He had been an
California.
actor, and that's what the left wanted to paint him as, just a dumb B-movie actor. But they ignore the fact that he'd been president of the Screen Actors Guild for years, and he also had been governor of California for 8 years before he ran for president.
What I'm saying is, he came from Hollywood. We don't exactly like Hollywood too much at this point. We have felt from California. We're not big on California.
We had Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis is like,
John
Bruce Willis got screwed. I mean, his show, The Boss, forget about it. Anybody saw The Boss back when it was airing on TV? What was it, AMC? I mean, he had we had Kelsey Grammer, another Republican, and he couldn't even get his show nominated because Hollywood said, nope, we're not going to give you the honor of that.
The point is that we would take them, though.
Yes. The fact is, though, could Reagan ideologically, let's stick to Reagan type ideologically, make its way through? I think you could get Reagan through. I really do. I think some people might complain he's not too conservative or he's too conservative. I think Reagan would have gotten through in the current primary system.
I'm just gonna,
That's the case.
Daniel wants to say something, then
Dan, go for it.
Sorry.
I'm just gonna add one thing to all this, and that is that you mentioned, what was it, 60% of the House, basically a governorship. Based on that, today is the time for us to continue with the power. Okay? We need to run for different types of office, because if we let the other party run unopposed, and I mentioned this before, they're going to stay winning. They're going to continue winning. So elect your postman, elect the person down the block, nominate these people, because if not, it's going to go back to the way it was. Thank you.
Thank you, very well said. And now, without further ado, since we made the poor guy wait. Brian Doherty, the first vice chairman of the Brooklyn GOP. Ladies and gentlemen, please give him a round of applause.
Oh, yeah, sure. I know some of you, I've known Glenn for a long time, Bob's here. Dan. Some of you look familiar, although we may not have been introduced, but my name is Brian Doherty. I'm the first vice chair of the Brooklyn GOP. I serve with Chairman Ted Gora, who would like to have been here today, but as we've been talking about for the duration of this meeting, there's a lot of meetings going on for different Republican clubs, different civic organizations, and that's a positive thing. I was, always like to have a lot of people, but I would rather have a lot of people in different places listening to different messages, all from us. And it's very encouraging, and it's something that hasn't happened in quite a long time here in Brooklyn. And it's exciting, it's encouraging, and I hope you all feel the same way. I'm a little technologically naive, but I don't want you guys to think that I'm checking my messages while I'm talking to you. I made some notes on Google Docs, which is a new frontier for me. Maybe not for some of the younger people, but it's new for me. So I'm going to refer to these periodically, but don't think that I'm checking my messages or anything like that. I'm certainly not doing anything like that. As I said, my name is Brian Doherty. I'm the first vice chair of the Brooklyn GOP. Before I get started, I'd like to tip my hat to the Brooklyn Tea Party here. I first kind of got associated with you guys in 2010 when I was a candidate for the New York State Assembly. And at the time, John Kenneth Press, I don't know if you guys are familiar with John.
Yes. Yeah.
He was the president at the time. He was kind enough, and the rest of your organization was kind enough to endorse me for the assembly race at that time. And I gave a speech down on the 69th Street Pier. And at the time, it was kind of, the Tea Party movement was kind of in its infancy. And I'm sure most of you are aware that the whole Tea Party movement kind of started as an offhanded remark on one of the financial shows in the morning. It was the guy's name, the gentleman's name escapes me at the moment, but he
Rick Santelli.
Right, Rick Santelli. He was one of the, not even a correspondent, he was in the financial industry, and he was one of these guys, they still do it on the financial shows in the morning. They refer to these guys and they get their opinion about things, and they get a little news and they try to get a couple of sound bites out of them. And some of the undercurrent from the Obama administration, it really rubbed this guy the wrong way at the time. And he made an offhanded remark about how the colonists 200 years ago had dumped tea in the harbor over far less than what we were enduring at the time. And it kind of took on a life of its own, and Rick didn't even want any part of it. It kind of, the groundswell that resulted from his remarks kind of scared him a little bit, how quickly it took hold and how what he was saying was resonating with people, and it was resonating with people. Make no mistake. And it's like kind of a small, offhanded remark, a minor, seemingly minor thing, a minor effort that could cause such a groundswell. And that's kind of the theme of what I want to talk to everybody about today. A minor effort can go a long way here. And as it did in 2010, or it might have been before that, that he had made those remarks. But it resulted in the red tidal wave that swept through Congress and overturned the House of Representatives. A simple offhanded remark from a man who didn't even really want to get behind it. It just resonated with people, and we took it to heart. And we understood from that simple phrase what the power of the silent majority could be. And we're still looking at it now, and I'm very happy to see that you guys are still together, actually even stronger than ever. It was 2010, it was kind of a fledgling organization. I don't know how many people here that were associated with it back then, but it was a small group, a small but noisy group. Yeah. And that was really the beauty of it. It was a small but noisy group here, and there, and there, and here, and from New York to California, and from the northern border to the southern border. And it really had a powerful effect. So much so that the left was terrified by it and started to try to characterize us as something that we really weren't. I mean, they were very, very ready and very eager to characterize the Tea Party movement and the conservative movement as a bunch of racist yahoos that were dangerous, and they were gun-toting, and they were dangerously religious and all these other things, while at the same time ignoring masked maniacs that are breaking windows and turning over cars and setting fire to university buildings just because they're terrified of somebody having a different point of view. And I think it's very important, maybe more important now than it was in 2010, that we keep our message, we stick to our message, and we keep pushing our message. And regardless of how they try to characterize us, it's more important now that we push our message forward. And as far as pushing our message forward, the Brooklyn GOP stands ready to do that. And we stand ready to accept any help that we can get in pushing that message forward. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about me because I'm a politician and a narcissist. I want you all to know about me and love me, and then we'll open the floor to hear what you guys think. Okay? So my name is Brian Doherty. I'm a lifelong resident of Brooklyn. I was born in Crown Heights, but my parents moved to Midwood just 6 months later after I was born. I'm the fifth of 6 children. I grew up just a couple of blocks from here on Avenue M. I worked in the bagel store on Avenue M for years and years. I went to Edward R. Murrow High School. St. Brendan's Elementary School, which is sadly no longer there, and PS 199 on Elm Avenue. That's why we're in the kindergarten.